The topic is levels of prevention. So this level of prevention, this is important from your public health dentistry point of view. As in public health dentistry, we are focusing more towards prevention. So what are these levels of prevention? Now when you start your posting with your public health dentistry, so in that too, when you're taking a case history, in that we are giving the treatment plan, in that we are involving, so we are including this treatment plan on these levels of prevention too. So you should know what these levels of preventions are. So as we know, prevention, it is better than cure. So what are the goals of prevention? So first goal is to promote health. Second is to preserve health. Third is to restore health when it is impaired. And fourth is to minimize the suffering and distress. So first we are promoting health, then we are preserving health, then we are restoring the health if it is impaired, and the goal of prevention is to minimize the suffering. So what are the phases of disease? So there are two phases, pre-pathogenesis and pathogenesis. Pre-pathogenesis is basically the disease agent, it has not yet entered the man, but the factors which favors its interaction with the human host, they are present in the environment. So it is pre-pathogenesis. So basically the person, he has no disease in pre-pathogenesis phase. Now in pathogenesis, this phase, it begins with the entry of the disease agent into the human host. So the final outcome, it can be recovery, disability or death. So these are the outcomes of pathogenesis. So pathogenesis is when the person, he gets a disease. So what is the definition of prevention? So it is the action which is aimed at eradicating, eliminating or minimizing the impact of the disease. So you're preventing it. So it is the action which aims at eradicating, it's like you're completely eradicating it, or you're eliminating the factors, or you're minimizing the impact of the disease. So this is the definition for prevention. So what are the levels of prevention? So basically there are 4 levels of prevention: primordial, primary, secondary and tertiary. So these are the 4 levels of preventions. So this is the diagrammatic view of it. So over here there is no disease, and that is this primordial and primary phase. Then there is onset of the disease, that becomes a secondary. And then there is clinical diagnosis, that is your tertiary. So there is no disease and it is under this primordial and primary. Then the asymptomatic disease, it comes under the secondary, and there is clinical course which is tertiary. So primordial, it prevents the development of the risk factor. Primary is, it manages the risk factor and it prevents its onset. Secondary is early diagnosis and treatment, and tertiary, it reduces the complication and disability. So this is a diagrammatic view of it. So starting off with the first one, that is primordial. So it is the prevention of the emergence or the development of the risk factor in the population group in which they have not yet appeared. So it is basically prevention of the risk factor. Now for any disease there are certain risk factors. So in primordial prevention, what you are doing is you are preventing the emergence or development of these risk factors. So in this, the main intervention is by individual and mass health education. So basically in primordial, you're just educating the people. So you're just educating them to take proper health care. So in this, the efforts are dedicated towards discouraging people from adopting harmful lifestyle habits through education. So you're just educating them so that they adopt some good habits, so good lifestyle and habits, and you're discouraging them towards, like you should discourage them towards the harmful lifestyle and habits. So it begins in the childhood when the health risk behavior begins. So primordial prevention basically in the childhood. So the examples of primordial, it can be food and nutrition. So you are like promoting towards better food, good food and nutrition. Then there is making major changes in the lifestyle. So the patient, if a person, he is educated so that he starts doing exercises. So there are these changes which he need to do in the lifestyle. Then the next is to promote regular physical activities. So that is, you are promoting him to do regular physical activity. That can be exercise, cycling, outdoor activities or anything. So this is the primordial. Primordial is nothing but before the start of any disease. So you are just basically preventing the emergence or the development of the risk factor. So the person, he don't get any disease. So there's this famous quote which was given by Elliot Jocelyn, which was like, the genes, it loads the gun, but your lifestyle, it pulls the trigger. So then the primary prevention. Primary, it is defined as the actions which are taken prior to the onset of the disease which removes the possibility that a disease will ever occur. So primary is basically the actions which are taken before the onset of the disease. So primary and primordial are basically before the onset of the disease, but primordial is when you are promoting good lifestyle, good food and nutrition, and in primary you're doing some procedures, or even you're promoting health in primary too. So they are the actions which are taken prior to the onset of the disease, which removes the possibility that the disease will ever occur. And the intervention is the pre-pathogenesis phase. So basically pre-pathogenesis, the factors, they are present in the environment, but it's just that they are not creating the disease in the humans. So we are preventing it so that it does not enter in the human, and which leads to any disease. So basic difference between primary and primordial is, in primordial there is no emergence of the risk factors, so there are no risk factors which are present, but in primary there are risk factors present and you're preventing that. In this, the actions they are taken before the onset of the disease, it is far more than preventing the occurrence of the disease and prolonging the life. It includes the concept of positive health. So basically it's like the concept of positive health, in which you are preventing the occurrence of the disease and you're prolonging the life. And positive health, it is a concept that encourages achievement and maintenance of an acceptable level of health that will enable every individual to lead a socially and economically productive life. So that is what your positive health is. So it is an holistic approach which is designed to promote health or to protect against specific disease agent and hazards in the environment. So what are the advantages of this primary? So it is low cost, as the person he do not have any disease, so it is low cost obviously, and it is safe. The procedures which are taken in primary are safe. Then the individual, he is not exposed to pain and suffering, as he did not got that disease, so he is not exposed to pain and suffering. So primary prevention, it is intervened into two ways. So this is like the subclassification of primary prevention, that is health promotion and specific protection. So in health promotion, what you're doing is you're giving the health education. So you're telling for the environmental modification, then nutritional intervention and lifestyle and behavioral changes. So these are the same things that you're doing for the primordial. And in specific protection is immunizations, use of specific nutrients, safeties of food and drugs. And in dentistry, what we are basically doing is those fluorides and pits and fissures. So we are doing, these are the specific protection. Like as we know, fluorides, they are used in preventive dentistry, and even pits and fissure. So this is the specific protection. Now, what are the approaches for this primary prevention which was recommended by World Health Organization? So there are two approaches. So first is the population mass strategy, and the next is high risk strategy. So population mass is, it is directed at a whole population irrespective of the individual risk level, so as to bring the behavioral, socio-economic and lifestyle changes. So in this strategy, what you're doing is you're directing it towards the whole population, and you're not seeing which individual is at more risk factors. So you are directing at whole population, so that you are bringing the changes in the lifestyle, socio-economic and behavioral. So example is, small improvement in the average oral health of a population would produce a large reduction in the incidence of dental caries. So these are like the camps which goes on in public health dentistry. So these is like you're improving, for the example is you're improving the average oral health of population, and because of this there is reduction in the dental caries. Now the next approach is high risk strategy. So in high risk strategy, what is it aims to bring preventive care to the individuals at special risk. So there are particular groups who are at high risk. If a person he has some disease, for example, so that person is at high risk to other thing. So in high risk strategy, it aims to bring preventive care to that individuals. So intervention, it is an attempt to intervene or interrupt the usual sequence in the development of the disease. So intervention, so there are two modes of intervention in primary that we have seen, that is health promotion and specific protection. So health promotion, it is a process of enabling the people to increase control over and to improve health. So health promotion is nothing but you are asking the people to take care of their health. So it is not directed against any particular disease, but it is intended to strengthen the host through this various thing, that is this we have seen health education, environmental modification, nutritional intervention and the lifestyle changes. So it is basically you are promoting health, and it is not directed against any particular disease, but you are strengthening the host response. So basically you are just strengthening that immunity of the patient. And specific protection, it is the provision of the conditions for the normal mental and physical functioning of the human being, that individually and in a group. So includes promotion of health, prevention of the sickness, and curative and restorative like medicines. So basically specific protection is protecting specifically. So that is like if the patient is at high risk, so you're giving some specific protection to that patient. So for that specific protection in dentistry, it is fluorides and pits and fissure. Now the next one is secondary prevention. So it is defined as the action which halts the progress of the disease at its incipient stage and prevents the complication. So now the disease has occurred, but now it is at incipient. So it's the starting stage, initial stage of that disease. So in secondary prevention, what we are doing is we are halting the progress of the disease, so there are no more complications. So specific intervention are early diagnosis and prompt treatment, that is adequate treatment. So the earlier a disease is diagnosed and treated, the better it is from the point of view of prognosis and preventing further complication. So basically, as we say, as soon as we are diagnosing a case, we have better prognosis. So earlier a disease is diagnosed, better is the prognosis. Now strictly speaking, early diagnosis and treatment, it cannot be considered prevention. Like in proper terms, if you are thinking, it's like the person, he has got the disease, so what now? We are taking the preventive measures. But now in this secondary prevention, it's like since the disease process, it has already started, however it has been included in a prevention because it will intercept the disease and it prevents further complications. So basically you're halting the disease at an earlier stage, so it doesn't get into more complications. So this is like we are including it in prevention, but not exactly it is, but yes, it prevents further complications. So it is secondary prevention. So what are the advantages? So their first is it is important in reducing high mortality and morbidity of certain diseases like hypertension. So now there are many cases because of hypertension, if it is not diagnosed at earlier stage, or it is not it is not prevented in the earlier stage, then it can lead to high mortality and morbidity. Mortality is the death rate and morbidity is the disease state of a person. So it's like it reduces this high mortality and morbidity rate. And the disadvantage is it is expensive now as the disease has started. So obviously there are more charges. So it is expensive and the patient is already subjected to pain and suffering, and the community to loss of productivity. So now in this, the disease has already occurred. So in this, the patient, he is subjected to pain and suffering. Now the third one, that is the tertiary prevention. So the intervention is the late pathogenesis phase. So late pathogenesis is now, it's like the disease has occurred, now it is going into the complications. So this is the tertiary prevention. So it's like it is defined as all the measures which are available to reduce or limit the impairments and disability, and it minimizes the sufferings which are caused by existing departures from good health, and to promote the patient adjustment to the conditions which are difficult to treat or correct. So it is like all the measures which are available to reduce the impairments and disability. So tertiary is you are taking the prevention in which the patient, he doesn't get disabled. So this is like the disease. When a disease occurs, it leads to impairment. If it is not treated, it leads to disability, and disability leads to handicap, that is the patient becomes handicapped. So the treatment, even in the late stage of the disease, it may prevent the sequel and it can limit the disability. So mode of intervention of tertiary is disability limitation and rehabilitation. So disability limitations, the objective of disability limitation is it is to prevent or halt the transition of the disease process from impairment to handicap. So disability limitation is you are halting the disease which we have seen over here. So the disease, it leads to impairment. If it is not halted, so it leads to disability, and this disability, it leads to the handicap. So in this disability limitation, you're halting the disease at this level so that the patient, he do not get handicapped. So this is what the objective of disability limitation is. So now what is impairment? Now you know what is disease. So this disease, it leads to impairment. So now impairment, it is any loss or abnormality of the psychological, physiological or anatomical structure or function. For example, it is like a loss of any of the structure or function, so that is impairment. For example, loss of a teeth. So basically it's like the teeth, they are lost due to any disease. So due to the disease, it can be caries, periodontal problems or anything. So the patient, so there's a person who loses his all teeth, so that is impairment. Now what is disability? So this impairment, it leads to disability. So disability, it is any restriction or lack of the ability to perform any activity in the manner or within the range which is considered normal for a human being. So it's like disability. So the patient is disabled. So there is this restriction or lack of the ability to perform any activity like a normal human being. So it's like now the patient, he has lost all his teeth. So because of that, now he's unable to talk properly. He is unable to eat properly. So this is the disability of the patient. Because of this impairment, because of the loss of the teeth, now he is disabled and he cannot talk, eat properly. Now what is handicap? So now this disability limitation is you are halting the disease at this stage so that it doesn't get handicapped. So the handicapped is it limits or it prevents the fulfillment of a role that is normal for that individual. So for example, now that same person, as he has no teeth, so because of that, now he loses his job and he becomes unemployed. So unemployed is like he's financially, now this is financially handicapped because of this impairment. Because of this impairment, now he is handicapped financially. So what is rehabilitation? So rehabilitation, that is the second intervention of the tertiary phase, tertiary level. So rehabilitation, it is a combined and coordinated use. So in this, what we are doing is we are coordinating the use of medical, vocational, social and educational measures for training and retraining the individual to the highest possible level of the functional ability. So now it's like, now the patient is disabled. So now he has lost his teeth. So now to like we rehabilitate it with the help of prosthesis. So that is nothing but rehabilitation. So it's like a combined and the coordinated use of medical, you're using medical, vocational, social. Now because of losing his teeth, he cannot interact with people. So now he's even socially handicapped. So you are giving this social rehabilitation and educational to like how properly use that processes. So this is the like combination of all these measures to train the individual to the highest possible level so that he can again have that functional ability. It reduces the impact of disabling the condition and it helps the person to participate actively and join the mainstream. So now because of this disease, the patient, he becomes handicapped or disabled. So this rehabilitation, it like encourages the patient. So these are the 4 types of rehabilitation as we have seen. Medical, the action of medical is restoration of the function. For example, provision of dentures. So now that patient has lost his teeth. So medical rehabilitation is when you are fabricating a denture. Then psychological is the restoration of the personal dignity and confidence. So now because of loss of teeth, so he loses his confidence. So in this psychological, you are restoring the confidence of that patient. So you are educating and motivating him to use the denture effectively. Then comes the vocational. Vocational is the restoration of the capacity to earn a livelihood. So the example is getting the job again. Now he got his prosthesis done. So now again that patient, he can search for a job and he can get the job again. Then the social rehabilitation is restoration of the family and social relationship. So now he is now ready to fulfill the role which is required of him by his family and society. So that is the social rehabilitation. So these all are the levels of prevention. That was your primordial, primary, secondary and tertiary. And this is very important like of question. So I have given over here a scenario and depending upon that, you'll tell me the treatment plan according to it depending on this levels of prevention. So for example, now this scenario is there's this patient with XYZ name. The age of the patient is 7 years. And the chief complaint of that patient is the patient, he complains of pain in the lower right back region of the jaw. So the chief complaint of the patient is he's having pain. And the pain, it can be due to various reasons. So what it is, we are going to see in oral examination. So what is the dietary habit of the patient? So the dietary habit is he's having diet which is rich in carbohydrates in the form of chocolates, ice cream, candies with a sweet score that is 30. So he's in the watch out zone. So sweet score is 30, that is he's in watch out zone, and he's having like food which is having more sugar. So now there are more of risk factors which are present in the patient's diet. Then when we are seeing the oral examination, when we are doing the oral examination, we see there are deep pits and fissure with respect to 3-6 and 4-6. So these are the newly erupted molars. So there are this deep pits and fissure with this two teeth. Then there is incipient occlusal caries with 4-6 and 7-5. So now as this patient is 7 years old, so there are this mixed dentation. So in that the patient, he has incipient occlusal caries. So the caries, it has just started. So with this 6-4 and 7-5. And the last thing that we see is there is advanced mesoocclusal caries with respect to 8-4, and this can be the reason for the pain. And this oral examination indicates that the complaint, it is because of this tooth, that is your 8-4. So this is the oral examination now we have seen properly. So now what is the comprehensive treatment plan according to the levels? So now according to this scenario, you have to tell me in the comment section like what will be the primary level of prevention. In that again you'll like tell me the treatment plan depending upon the health promotion and specific protection. Then what will be like included in the secondary level of prevention, and what will be there in tertiary. In tertiary also you will tell me about disability limitation and rehabilitation. So this is like this scenario. This will help you to write the case histories in your exams too, because in case history you have to write in public health dentistry this comprehensive treatment plan, like depending upon this levels of prevention. So it will clear the concept of this level of prevention, and you can apply it clinically, like where you should use which type of prevention. So this was it of this video. I hope you found this video helpful, and do let me know about this answer, like what it is exactly depending on this scenario. Thank you so much.